Good morning. This is your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. Still seeing some cloudy conditions out there this morning, but we have seen most of that light rain starting to move out of the area. We have warmed up nicely with temperatures in the low 60s at this time and still seeing those slightly breezy conditions. Should see mainly dry conditions as we move throughout the workday today, with a slight chance of seeing a few isolated showers, mainly as we get past that close of business time later today. If we look at our current surface analysis, we have a area of low pressure well north of the region that's going to bring these cold fronts through our local area as we move mainly later in the day today. Out ahead of it, saw that light rain activity push through this morning, and as that boundary approaches and pushes through the area, that's when we'll see that best chance of a few isolated showers, and then behind it seeing a shift in those winds with a return to below average temperatures as we get into the end of the week. If we look at our upper level winds from this morning's sounding, we have mainly west to west southwesterly winds through the entire column, seeing those winds 25 to 35 knots in the lower levels and increasing up to a peak wind of 69 knots at 25,000 feet, and that freezing level today is at 8,000 feet. If we look at the local radar picture here, we can see it do have some light rain just south and moving south of the area. Not expecting much impact from that, little to no impact with that shower activity continuing to move eastward, and as mentioned, expecting mainly dry conditions as we move through the rest of the morning as well as into the first part of the afternoon. If we look at our current visible satellite, we can see plenty of cloud material in the area, expecting that to continue as we move through the day today. Likely see a decrease in some of the lower and mid-level clouds briefly as we get to the afternoon, but still keeping those high clouds around for much of the day before those mid-level clouds build back in going into the evening time frame. If we look at the high-resolution model here as we go through the day, again, seeing those showers pushing off to the east and southeast of the area, looking at mainly dry conditions moving through the working day. Then as that boundary approaches, mainly as we get past the 16 to 1700 local time frame, we do see a few light returns on the model here, indicating that slight chance of an isolated shower pushing through the area, and that continues likely until we get to about midnight, before that chance starts to diminish to zero, and we'll keep some clouds around as we go into the early morning hours of Thursday. That's going to keep those temperatures from really bottoming out as those winds shift out of the northeast, becoming quite breezy as we get to the start of the day on Thursday. So Thursday looking like a cooler day than what we'll see today. Back to below average temperatures. We'll see slightly breezy onshore flow as we go through the day, and likely see mostly cloudy conditions through much of the day with some breaks in the clouds as we go later in the day, overnight and into Friday morning. We'll start to see continue cooler conditions, but we'll break up some of those clouds as we get to the start of the day on Friday. We zoom out and look at the the European model here for the longer term forecast. We see that by the time we get into Friday, we have that area of high pressure to the north that's going to keep that onshore flow as we continue through Friday. And then that starts to move eastward as we get into the weekend time frame, and that allows for a more southerly component to the winds, bringing in some warmer temperatures as we move through the day on Saturday. A weak warm front will be lifting through the area. Looks like that should be mainly dry as it lifts through, just bringing those warmer conditions with some very warm conditions starting to move into the area as we get into the end of the weekend and starting off into the beginning of next week. Overall, periphery of this area of high pressure off the southeast coast should keep control of the forecast as we go through the extended period and into next week. The next best chance of seeing some precipitation moving into the area looks to be as we get into the PM time frame on Tuesday, as another boundary approaches, potentially moving through the area late on Tuesday, bringing a chance of some showers, and then behind that looking like we'll see a few more dry days for our weather. So if we look at our 24-hour weather risk chart for today, we did have that red risk for precip earlier this morning. That again is since mainly diminished down to about a yellow chance until that precip just south of the area moves out. We do have that yellow risk for those winds at or above 25 knots, with those peak gusts expected up around 22 knots as we get into the afternoon. Those winds out of the southwest, 9 to 14 knots, gusting up to 21 knots. It's going to allow those temperatures to warm up a bit. Expecting our high around 68 degrees, and again expecting mainly Mostly cloudy conditions through the day today and slightly breezy conditions. Past that 1600 time frame, we pick up that yellow risk for precip once again, with that chance of an isolated shower moving through the area. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, and we'll see the breeze briefly diminish before picking it back up again behind that wind shift out of the north behind the front. We'll see our low temperature get down to around 51 degrees, not cooling down as much with the cloud cover and breezy conditions, and then we pick up that yellow risk for winds that are about 25 knots once again as we get past the midnight time frame behind the front, particularly as those winds start shifting more out of the northeast getting into the start of the day on Thursday. Tides are running slightly above normal, and if we take a look at the extended forecast here, Thursday we'll see mostly cloudy and slightly breezy day. We'll see a low-end chance of seeing a wind advisory for our Thursday. Another cool day with high in around 54 degrees. Still a fairly cool day on Friday, but we'll see more sunshine with a high around 57 degrees. And as we get into the weekend, we'll start to see a warm up with a high around 63 degrees for our Saturday. We'll see partly to mostly cloudy conditions as that warm front lifts through the area, and then we'll see very mild conditions behind that. Sunday, looking at partly cloudy and slightly breezy conditions, high into the low 70s. And then as we get into the start of next week, we'll see our high temperatures in the upper 70s, approaching 80, and our low temperatures in the upper 50s, low 60s. And then we'll see partly cloudy, a nice day for Monday, and then partly cloudy conditions on Tuesday. And as that potential front approaches, we'll have that just a slight chance of some PM showers this far out for our Tuesday afternoon. That's going to wrap up the 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8:15 and 10 a.m. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day.